Hey everyone, it's Saturday, June 5th. The time right now is 12:17 p.m. and the temperature is a rather nice 29 degrees Celsius. And I'm riding into a rather strong wind right now. I'm currently riding west along Glencairn Avenue, and that was Glencairn subway station where I started. I'll be turning right here onto Marley Avenue in a second. From here I'll head north up to Lawrence Avenue. Then after a couple of quick rights, I'll be on the Allen Road. For today only, or at least I think it's only for today, the city has closed the northbound lanes of the Allen Road between Lawrence Avenue and Eglinton Avenue for the ActiveTO program. And that overpass I was on at the start of the video was on top of Allen Road. So this kind of represents a unique chance to go for a bike ride where you normally wouldn't get to take your bike or walk. So Marley Avenue here terminates at Lawrence Avenue, which is just up ahead. A lot of these east-west roads we're passing terminate at the Allen Road, then they often start up again on the other side. And I'll talk a bit about why that is fairly soon. And this is definitely the hottest weather I've biked in this year so far. It only took me about 20 minutes to get to the starting point for this ride from my home. I was pretty gassed by the time I got there, although that was a mostly uphill ride. There's the Lawrence Allen Center straight ahead. And here's Lawrence West subway station. And this is the southbound entrance to the Allen Road. So if you're in a vehicle, you can still head that way down to Eglinton. Well, I said after a couple of rights, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to get on from this off-ramp or which side of Allen I'll be able to jump onto the, or which side of Lawrence I'll be able to jump onto the Allen Road from. I'm assuming it's the south side that I'm on. And this month marks the 50th anniversary of the rather triumphant cancellation of this project. It was originally known as the Spadina Expressway, and then it became known as the Allen Expressway, and that's what I've just turned onto. So this would be the northbound off-ramp to Lawrence. But now it's just the Allen Road. There seems to be some type of event going on here. perhaps to commemorate the cancellation of the project.
I remember walking, and I was a young boy then, but Colin Vaughn was walking with us, Jane Jacobs, Marshall McLuhan. Some of you may have never heard of Marshall McLuhan. We were walking up here protesting.
So he's talking about some of the people that were instrumental in getting this project canceled. So originally back in the 50s, they proposed an expressway that would run north to south along this route. Eventually it was to go north all the way up to Highway 7 and south all the way down to the Gardner Expressway. Here goes the northbound Line 1 train. And there's been a few different versions of the southbound leg of the Spadina Expressway that have popped up over time, and the most common one included going right through the Cedarvale and Nordheimer ravines, and there were various plans to bury it underground or to elevate it, and it would have gone south right past Casaloma and down Spadina through what is now Chinatown. But in 1971, it was decided that just this short, mostly already built stretch would be all that there would be to it. There was a lot of proponents from the Forest Hill and Annex neighborhoods, and even the Rosedale neighborhood, as they were opposing a crosstown expressway, which this one was to link to. So all that was built was what they called the baby highway. It's just a small stretch that starts just north of Highway 401, and initially it just came south to Lawrence. Then they built the final leg opening, I think, in 1976, and that is just from Lawrence to Eglinton. And that is what we're riding right now. And unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to turn around when we get to Eglinton. While they managed to close this section, which is a rather nice thing, they were not able to arrange a connection to Eglinton Avenue at the south end. There's a lot of construction going on due to the Crosstown LRT. But still, during the week, cars can come on and off the Allen, so I don't know why they couldn't leave it open for pedestrians and cyclists, but whatever, small gripe, I guess. We'll just have to turn around and then go back, mostly uphill in the other direction. This is certainly a neat place to take your kids. And straight ahead is Eglinton West subway station. I forgot to point out when we went past Glencairn, so here we'll turn around and go back north up to Lawrence. End of event. Oop, that kid just went right into the barrier. I'm just gonna grab a sip of water.
Oh, so you can't go through here, right? Oh, yeah. You can only get out at Lawrence. Yeah. I was wondering about that. Like, how are you?
And I'm guessing, because you can only get on from Lawrence, that's one of the reasons why it's not that busy today. I think we've got a train rolling by. Oh, I thought I was taking a picture. I was actually in video. Ah, whatever. Let's head north up to Lawrence. So had this Spadina Expressway have been built, the landscape of the city would have been changed quite dramatically. There are major north to south highways along the Don Valley, the Don Valley, known as the Don Valley Parkway, right next to the Don River. And on the west end, in Etobicoke, near the city of Mississauga, at the 427. So the city had expropriated the land that we're currently riding on, and they severed a lot of the streets. And if you go to Google Maps, you can see that. And they kind of built this, what was referred to as a ditch or a trench. And there were some arguments saying it's quite stupid to build a subway line up the middle of a highway. How are you going to encourage people to ditch the car and take the subway when you've built this nice expressway to whisk them into downtown on their car? And this is Viewmont Avenue. This is the southern end of Glencairn, or the Glencairn subway station. So initially the highway was only 3 kilometers in length. Unfortunately, I say that as someone who's more of a proponent of transportation and things like bikes, e-bikes, e-scooters, and personal transportation, that not much more was built other than the Lawrence to Eglinton stretch, which to this day has always been a bit of a bottlenecked nightmare if you try to take the southbound lanes and get off at Eglinton, especially with the crosstown construction. So as part of ActiveTO, the city has also, I think this weekend, closed Lakeshore Boulevard East. I don't think Lakeshore Boulevard West, this stretch along that, has been closed. That one will only be sometimes this year due to construction. And there's also a stretch along Bayview that's been closed for ActiveTO. It's just a weekend thing. And I think this is a today only thing. If they don't get on TV, they're at least going to be on YouTube. was rather short. I think maybe I'll just keep the camera running and ride home. So I'll turn east onto Lawrence Avenue here. I think I could take that sidewalk there. It turns into a trail. Maybe that goes all the way down to the York Beltline Trail. Or I guess on that side it would be the K. Gardner Beltline Trail. Well, let's just stick to Lawrence. I live streamed along Lawrence a few days ago. Although that was a walking live stream. I finally got my cycling live streams figured out. So there'll be more of those coming up. And a lot of people have been asking me how I've been pulling that off. I'll be doing a video at some point that shows that. I think there might be a few little kinks to iron out. Here is a major east to west arterial, I think you'd call it, that goes across the city. You can even take the bus all the way to Pearson Airport, although I don't advise that particular route if you're this far east. I found it's quicker just to take the subway down to Bloor Yonge and then over to Kipling and then take the Rocket bus. I guess it depends on the time of day. One time I tried to take the bus here to the airport. It took well over an hour and 20 minutes. It was a very painful experience, although that was during the afternoon rush hour. That includes waiting for it, I guess. It was something ridiculous like that. Ooh, these people are not dressed for the weather. This guy's in a full suit. Coming up is Bathurst Street. So there's two major streets to go before we get to Yonge. There's Bathurst and then Allen Road. I've noticed they're running a lot of electric buses on this route. It's a 52A Lawrence bus. They used to run them down Bay Street. providing this video works out, I think this will be it for today. A nice shower and a cold beverage will be in order after this. Here comes Avenue Road, and just on the southeast corner will be Havergal College. Bike ride last year that started at the very top of Allen Road and went south down the entire length of, Avenue Road, down the entire length of Avenue. It turns into Queen's Park and then University Avenue. I slid my phone out of my pocket. I'm having trouble getting it back in. I think it's in there. Does that Range Rover have a whistle on it? I've never heard a vehicle make that kind of sound before. Absolutely horrible. If you were going at a good clip on a road bike, you better have your hands on your handlebars for that. So here's Chatsworth. Oh, this is a one-way street. Thinking maybe it would have been nicer to head along some residential streets back home, especially since I just did Lawrence Avenue. Guess I wasn't really thinking, but here's a street. What is this? Geller Road. Let's get lost. This is Chudley Avenue. There is a ravine just up ahead, the Chatsworth Ravine. So I think that's why we're not able to just keep going straight south here. And I cannot go down that street, so we are on Cheriton Avenue. And this is Duplex. Let's take Duplex for a little bit. There seems to be a bit of a rise in inline skating in the last few years. That's the Chatsworth Ravine on the right. I live streamed through there last week. That was kind of fun. And my connection seemed to hold up. This is Glenview Avenue. And Glen Grove Avenue West. So we're heading south towards the Yonge Eglinton Midtown neighborhood. We're in Midtown now. Everything south of Lawrence could be considered Midtown. At least along the stretch of Lawrence that I took. Hey look, it's Glencairn Avenue where we started. We have returned to Glencairn Avenue. Let's go see what Yonge Street is like, and then that'll be that. It's weird how there's a subway stop on the west part of Glencairn, on that side of line 1, but the busier Yonge stretch doesn't have a subway stop between Eglinton and Lawrence, which is pretty much a straight shot. It's the same story on the west side, so I'm not sure what the story is behind that. I've always thought Glencairn was a bit of an oddball station. Doesn't really seem to have the density around it to support it. One little bonus of not taking Lawrence over to Yonge was I avoided a bit of an uphill climb. Just kind of circumvented it. Red light, which I will not care for. This is Briar Hill Avenue. I'm going to title this ride something along the lines of the Spadina Expressway or the Allen Road. But most of it has not been along part of or along the alley. Sometimes I start a sentence and I have no idea how it's going to finish. And just up here on the left is a parking lot where I've started some of my bicycle live streams. It seems like a fitting place to end it. I live just around the corner from here. All right, I hope you enjoyed this ride. Down and then up the Spadina Expressway and then over to my hood, Yonge and Eglinton. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support the channel, there are links to my Patreon in the description. You can also check out channel memberships on my YouTube page itself. All right, folks, thanks for watching, and I shall catch you on the next one.